Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to the LRC Realistic Performance Off-Season Championship, here today for Round 4 at Mexico City, the penultimate round of the season, with some titles technically on the line, although very unlikely to be decided here today. It's more than likely we'll see it go down to the wire at the final race next time out in Silverstone, but we still have plenty of action to come across those two races, and that gets started here tonight in, well, one of the busiest cities in the world. And joining me on the trip to Mexico is going to be Mountie alongside me in the commentary box. Welcome in.
How are you doing, guys? I'm so glad to be here in Mexico with my boy Koolest. We're on vacation, everybody. How are you doing?
It's great to be here. I'm sure some of the drivers will be feeling less pleased to be here because this is a very, very tricky track on this game. The rear tyre temperatures overheating are going to be quite the issue for these guys to keep on top of, especially in the race, but even just over one lap in qualifying, the final sector can get quite treacherous and quite deadly. So, yeah, we'll see how well everyone is able to manage things, but we are looking here at our championship leader and the man who does mathematically have a chance to win the championship here today. Phil Malone in the Alpine as he makes his way down towards the first corner. He's on 53 points and he's 8 points clear of Pool Diver in second place in the driver's standings. He will not be attending the final race of the season, Phil, so if he is going to stand a chance of winning, he needs to get it done today, and the only way that he can do that is if he wins the race and pretty much all of his closest rivals, going down to about 10th in the standings, don't score any points at all. So it's very unlikely that he's going to be able to do it, but yeah, it's technically it is possible, so I'm sure Phil is going to be giving it his absolute all, and seems to be on a relatively clean and tidy lap here at the start of this qualifying session, with 15 minutes left to run. And you can see he's going to be purple in the second sector. Obviously, we never know how much to trust Codemasters when they tell us things like that. But nonetheless, we will follow him through here, this very tricky section that I described earlier on, and looks nicely planted on the rear end, taking a slightly shallow line, coming out of the final corner, around the peril tire and up to the line. First lap of the session is going to be a 1:15.1 for the German.
I mean, obviously, if Phil Malone could win the championship today, it would have to take a disaster scenario, as his teammate does a fastest lap, a bit over 5/10 faster than him. But yeah, no, the Alpines have been really dominant this whole season, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alpine probably will win the constructors. I think that could be maybe settled today. It would need a really bad result from the kick drivers. But it's a lot of stuff to start looking up to with the last two races of the season coming.
Yep, it's certainly something that's on the cards here, and Loris is, surprisingly enough, still yet to score any points in this championship, so he's going to be looking to right those wrongs here today, because Pool Diver is, like we say, second in the standings, and could probably use some of the help that he got from his teammate in the first round in Jeddah. He could also just use Loris to actually finish the race and finish in the points, because, like we mentioned, Phil isn't going to be around for the final race, so Sauber do have a potential realistic shot of still clinching and clawing back the Constructors' Championship away from the French outfit. So, yeah, there's plenty of storylines to keep on top of. As we see here, the man himself, Loris, making his way through the middle sector on what I guess was just a quick outlap. And I think he's going to be letting through his teammate Pool Diver, who's already finished his first run of the session. And I wonder if we might be already about to see the beginnings of the Sauber teamwork that is going to need to be quite strong, like we mentioned, because I think Pool Diver, well, let's see, is he going to come into the pits? No, he's going to stay out, and he's going to give his teammate an almighty tow down the start-finish straight here, so great coordination from the Sauber team, as we've already seen. Of course, two Dutch drivers here, and clearly communicating very nicely, and Loris is going to have a fantastic run down to the first corner. Out of the way goes Pool Diver, and underway with his lap goes Loris into the first corner, hooks it up nicely over the curbs, a little bit wide of the second corner as Pool Diver skirts straight back across the chicane, trying to give Loris another tow down the second straight towards turn 4. This one's not going to do quite so much, and well, Pool Diver's going to get out of the way in a slightly unorthodox manner there, which Don't know if that maybe caught Loris out a little bit, but the game does say that he's purple in the first sector, so the tow seems to be working quite well. But now, now Pooldiver's going to be giving him dirty air through the middle sector. Well, he would if it actually existed, but unfortunately, Loris has messed it all up. He's invalidated his lap, only slightly over the curb, but that could prove to be a costly mistake for him.
Yeah, the kick driver has been doing some great teamwork all year long, with all season long. Sorry, with the teamwork in qualifiers. It's not the first we see this, but yeah, Loris absolutely did a little small mistake in the second sector and ruined his lap, which is going to be quite a big loss on tires. Obviously, like you were saying, the back tires, the rear tires, I mean, are really getting used like crazy in this track. So I wouldn't be surprised if. Yeah, right into the pits because I think his tires might have been taking a bit too much wear already. So big mistake from Loris already.
And the Williams driver that went to overtake them there, just about to start his lap, and indeed on it now, is Aero, who, well, takes a bit too much curb through the first corner, that unsettled the car a bit. I think he just turned in slightly early. Now he's going to be getting a tow from his teammate Elias. Obviously, these guys have a long history of working together. Usually it's this driver and engineer relationship, but this time it's his driver and driver. And yeah, Elias plays that a lot more sensible heading into turn 4, not darting out of the way across the grass like Pooldiver was for his teammate. So sure, Aero will be pleased about that, but probably less pleased about the wheel spin he got coming out of turn 7 there. So trying to hook it up now through the middle sector, doesn't invalidate like Loris did. And that is exactly what you want to be seeing at this stage of the session. Still 10 minutes left to go, so just looking for a solid banker. Again, game says purple in the middle sector. Don't know how much to believe it. It's the bit of a lock-up, and now a big lock-up into the hairpin there. This is going to be costing Aero quite a bit of time, so going to be plenty of improvement still for the Portuguese driver to find in the final sector, and I'm sure that will reflect as he crosses the line now to set still the quickest time of the session. So clearly found some pace there, no matter what mistakes were holding him back. And yeah, another driver who is very much in the championship hunt is making a strong start to life in Mexico City here today, and I wonder if he's going to try to tow his teammate, but inadvertently, seems like he actually blocks his teammate there. Elias, coming into the first corner, I think he might have gotten held up a little bit there. Aero perhaps caught a bit napping, I'm not sure.
Yeah, surprising lap from Aero. That third sector was a bit messy with huge lockups and sliding everywhere, but yeah, the teamwork really shows now. Aero and Elias, obviously I think we were together last season, if I remember correctly, but yeah, no, they have a history of working together, so obviously it shows in the results of the laps, and obviously the margin between first and second is minuscule. It's nothing, so obviously with 9 minutes left in the quality session, let's see if Elias can have a great lap and maybe get front row with his teammate.
I would be almost surprised if that wasn't the case, despite getting potentially held up at the first corner. What can the Bahraini driver do? He can go straight to the top of the times. 1:13.8, that is entirely predictable pace from Elias. That's what we come to expect from him, but don't take it away from him. Just because we come to expect it is still very, very impressive stuff. And yeah, he is, of course, a reserve driver, so do keep that in mind. He's not eligible to score any points, but what he can do, as we already saw, is do his best to help out his teammate Aero, and if Williams can lock out the front row of the grid with a 1-2, then there is really no better way that than they can go about that. So on board again with Loris here, who's back out of the pits now, heading through turn 6 and getting the traction down nicely. He heads towards the place where it all went wrong this time last lap. And this time he's going to hook it up much nicer, a little bit more cautious I would imagine, just wanting to make sure he does get a competitive time on the board, and indeed he is still going to be on a valid run as he makes his way into the final sector of the lap, 13 seconds up on the time that he never actually set, and again, similar to Aero, a little bit deep into the right-hander, and now, well, he did lock up for the hairpin, but didn't actually run wide, so I don't think he'll have lost any time really, and making his way up to the line now is the Dutchman. And up to, it's going to be P4, so right there with his teammate for the time being, before Pooldiver sets his second run, but Loris at least has a solid time under his belt now.
Yeah, obviously the Alpines are getting split right now. Phil is going to do another lap for sure, I think, because he's about to start
invalidated,
right now
actually.
as we speak. Yeah, it wasn't valid. I think he might start this one, or maybe go back to the pits and change and tires real quick and start another one because he needs to get as high as possible there. How he goes as he goes into the pits, but he needs to be as high position in qualifiers as possible if he wants to have any shots as close like as making a bigger margin for the championship title. Him not being here in Silverstone will be a big game changer, as we know. So he's gonna have to perform here. Any mistake he does is gonna be crucial to his standings because he can't start 10th and make his way up like it's nothing. This is a hard track on tires. You can't just give it your all every lap. It's gonna be interesting to see how he responds to those fast laps from the Williams and the kicks because Nade is in 3rd place right now, but. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough for Phil if he doesn't perform now.
And speaking of mistakes, we've just seen one there from Paul Diver, who was on his next run of the session and has made a bit of an error there, coming out of turn 5. Just seemed to break traction for a second, and that was enough to cause him to abort his lap. And unfortunately, it seems like he's going to be holding up Bablo a little bit here, who's on his 2nd run of the session. Thankfully, the Sauber driver does eventually get out of the way. And Bablo can continue pressing on, but not for very long, because he runs wide, coming through, I think that's turn 13, and yeah, invalidates his lap as well. So track limits is going to be certainly something that we'll have to keep an eye on today. It is at most tracks, but this is especially one of them. And yeah, Bablo falling foul of it, the next victim, and almost certainly not the last in this qualifying session, which now has only 5.5 minutes left to go. It does fly by, and flying down the start-finish straight are the Flying Dutchmen, once again trying to give each other a tow. This time it's Loris ahead of Paul Diver, and I wonder if Paul Diver is, with that in mind, going to be going for a second lap. It certainly does seem to be the case. Loris does the cutting over the grass strategy, and is going to try to give his teammate the tow back down towards turn 4 here, which he'll do successfully, and gets out of the way. It almost sounded to me like Paul Diver actually lifted out of the throttle for a second, just for not really knowing where his teammate was going to go, but yeah, potentially mishearing things there, so take it with a pinch of salt as he heads into the middle sector now. Oh, it's well into the middle sector already, but into the S section, where things can certainly go wrong, and where the tyres will certainly overheat, but Paul Diver nails it nicely there. Gets the DRS open as he heads into Sector 3 now. Again, yet another purple sector according to the game at this point. I'm just going to stop mentioning it because we have no clue how valid it actually is. Heading through the final corner, so it does look like a clean and tidy lap this time for Paul Diver, as perhaps jumps up to P5. Solid lap from the Aston Martin, but up to the stripe now, Paul Diver is able to improve to P2 with an incredibly strong lap, a 1:13.8. That's almost enough to dethrone Elias.
Yeah, that's a great lap. Splits the Williams. Great lap as well from perhaps in 6th place, but the Aston Martin does not overlook that. But yeah, no, it's a great lap from Paul Diver. The teamwork obviously works again. Proves how strong it is to be with your team, to work with your team. Sorry, but I'm gonna just hope the Red Bulls have a better race weekend than last week. As we saw, it was a bit of a slip inside last week. Let's just hope they can keep on the track. Maybe have some points today. We're 15. The points are available. Lennon is in 10th right now, and yeah, now let's see if some upsets can happen. Maybe in the McLarens, maybe in the Red Bulls. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, will certainly be interesting, and something to mention as well is Kiesiel is still in the pits with 3 minutes left to go in the session. I'm not sure if he might potentially have a qualifying ban that he's yet to serve. I wouldn't really know too much about that, so if he does have a qualifying ban, then it does apply to the next race that you actually take attendance for, so it is possible. That's the best reason that I could think of for why he's still in the pits and hasn't set a time. So he is a quick driver, and we would expect him, if he were to set a time, to be towards the top end of the field. And yeah, that's going to make things a little bit more interesting in the race to see if he can make his way through the field from the back of the grid when it does get underway. But in the meantime, back out on track is the one-time leader of this session, Aero. who currently sits in third place still, nothing to scoff at, but looking to improve no doubt is the Portugueseman. He's 2/10 up in his time, if the game is to be believed, heading into the final sector. Now, as we saw on his first lap, there was a little bit of time left on the table by missing a couple of apexes. Seems to have been a bit tidier this time around for Aero as he heads around the final corner now, exiting the Peraltada and heading up to the stripe. What is it going to be for the Portugueseman? It is a 4/10 improvement, but it's still not enough to touch Pooldiver's time because he was that far ahead. So really solid lap from Aero there, but yeah, still not close enough to gain him any positions, but it might protect him from losing a few as everybody else goes on to set their laps, including Elias now, looking to try and defend the pole position that he currently holds.
Really shows how great of a lap Pooldiver really performed out there. It's really deciding. He just split the Williams. It's really something that's big for him because Elias is not taking points home. So it's big for Pooldiver, who is racing Phil for the championship. It's as Phil is on the track right now with a minute 30 left. So those laps are gonna have to come in, as he almost got blocked by the Ferrari right there. But yeah, no, it's a really great lap from Pooldiver.
Yeah, definitely is, and I think it's gonna. Well, we'll have to wait and see if it does stand the test of time, because this is a track where track evolution is quite a big factor. So we'll have to wait and see, but we're not going to have to wait very long because we are in the dying moments of qualifying now. Elias crosses the line and he does improve. It's not a substantial improvement, but I think that's going to have to be enough to see him clear of the field in P1. It's a 1:13.5, so let's see what everybody else has got. Can anyone challenge that? Nade's just crossing the line to start his next lap, so not sure who's going to be the next person to finish a lap. Potentially the Vacuum hit, who's just about, well, he's on the cusp of improving his time, and he does do so, but not by very much, as Phil now crosses the line, and it's only P7 for the championship leader. That is, well, if he was hoping to try and win it here, that is not the ideal way for him to start his session, as we are now into a frantic period as everybody tries to get their final laps in.
Yeah, no, a bit of chaos incoming right now, but nah, Phil P7. I think he's going for he just invalidated his lap, so his qualifying is over.
Yeah.
He's gonna so that's it right now for him. Now let's see if maybe nowadays teammate can do a miracle and maybe go P2. I don't think maybe his time is getting better. But compared to the pack, the 113s are really fast compared to the 113s.
And look at that, Lellen up to P4. I saw him coming around the final corner.
I hope, I hope they had a great race. And wow, what a great showing.
Yeah, Nade displaces him immediately into back into P4, and quite a lot of drivers are about to cross the line, so we'll have to wait a moment to herald the achievement of the Italian there, as I think next up is going to be Vacuum once again. Yeah, I think Loris is, he's invalidated, hasn't he? So Vacuum coming up to the line now. Don't think he's going to be able to improve. No, he's not. So final couple of drivers perhaps will cross the line. No, he's going to come back into the pits, as does Loris. Obviously, he's invalidated. Bablo sets his final lap of the session, not able to improve, as the Ferraris are across the line. Zoxon, only P10. He's fourth in the standings. That's not a good result for him either. His teammate Kvyat has to hold on to P12 only, and that very quickly is going to round out the session, unless Pooldiver has anything to say about it, as he is still on a lap. He's a little bit down in his time, and he's getting traffic from Kiesiel, who is also setting a time at the end of the session. We saw them both queuing up right at the death here, so across the line it's going to be a 1-2 punch. What can Kiesiel do? He goes fourth quickest, and Pooldiver not able to improve on his time. He got very close, but is not going to be able to do so and has to settle for second place. But yeah, Kiesiel, no qualifying ban, just felt like leaving it late, and under pressure is able to deliver a solid P4 finish. Very frantic end to quali there.
Interesting strategy to go at the last lap, but no, it worked out. Fourth place could have been better maybe, but yeah, no, I personally, Zox and Phil are the losers of this qualifying. Even Loris could be counting it to one, but the winner is Lellen. What a lap!
Absolutely.
Holy smokes! But interesting to see how he can hold on in the race, obviously. Kvyat did his time with a medium tire, which is interesting.
Bizarre.
But now we're gonna see the strategy, because obviously the tires are gonna be really worn off in this race. So I think it's gonna be the best driver who can handle tire wear. That's probably gonna be coming up on top.
Yeah, I would have to imagine everyone is still most likely going to go for a one-stop with the mediums and the hards. And it's pretty much always the best strategy, but I think this is one of the tracks where you could consider a two-stop, and especially if we do get a safety car, then that is definitely going to be a possibility. But yeah, like you say, tire management will be important, and just managing the temperatures of the rear tires, especially, is going to be a real challenge for these guys in this race. If it's one of those tracks where if you make one mistake, then that can pretty much cost you for a long time, because if you get a slide coming out of a slow speed corner through a traction zone, then that can overheat the tires, and it can on a game like this, at a track like this, that can very well be the end of your rear tires having any semblance of grip, as unfortunately once again somebody is readied up too soon, and yeah, it was 2 penalty points last week, and I think that's going to be getting dished out once again this time. No clue who that would be for, but yeah, that does mean we're going to be getting things underway a little bit quicker than expected, and once again that might mean a couple of disrupted and not fully thought out strategies here if people weren't able to again, yeah, if people weren't able to get them selected in time. So it's going to be a slight mix here. We have Elias and Kiesil on the hards, as well as Loris and Trimashave, with everybody else on the medium tyres. So a little bit of variance, nothing too much, but yeah, it's certainly going to make for a interesting start to this race.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. People starting on hard is going to be a gamble. I think it might work out well for some drivers. I mean, Loris needs to hold on as much as possible. I think he's going to maybe be a repeat from Jeddah if he's going on the hard first. But yeah, as you can see the strategy here. The window for mediums are around 16 to 28 laps if you're good. But yeah, there's a two-stopper in the hand here if there's a safety car, as you said before. But yeah, no, strategy is going to be really important this race. Sorry.
Yep. Absolutely will be. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on as ever, and as we also mentioned, track limits penalties is going to be another thing to keep on top of for all of these guys, so we'll see how they manage it. But yeah, the medium tyre runners are going to have extra grip off of the line compared to the hard tyre runners, as, well, Loris seems to be doing some unorthodox tyre warming strategies there, going for a spin, coming out of turn 12 or 13, and now making contact, quite heavy contact with one of the Ferraris, so those guys are both going to get reset to the grid. It was caveat bonus, so not ideal for them, but yeah. Everybody making their way up to the grid to form up now, and yeah, getting ourselves ready for what should be a very, very entertaining race ahead of us. Like I say, the medium tyre runners will have extra grip, which on a run to the first corner as long as this might give them a bit of an advantage, but it is certainly going to be a slipstream fest. Most important thing for these guys is to keep it clean as we go to 4 and 5 red lights. And we are go for round 4 in Mexico, and it's going to be a decent start for Elias on those hard tyres, but what is everyone around him going to be able to do? Paul Diver's got a good run, and in the slipstream is going to be Aero immediately trying to get to the inside. He's going to be to the inside of his teammate, and I wonder if Elias is just going to try to back the others up and let him through here, because obviously he can't score points. It will be a Williams 1-2, as somebody gets turned in the background there. Somebody's gone round. I didn't see who it was. I think they've actually been tipped back the right way, but somebody was sideways for a second, as perhaps drops down a couple of places. Phil is up to 6th, as now a move coming in from Kiesil, trying to get round the outside of Elias on the first lap at turn 4, and he's going to do just that. Now it's 3 wide, heading into turn 6. Sandwich fighting for second place, and Paul Diver is going to do them both up into second with a beautiful switchback, and now Kiesil is going to be into third, and the Williams 1-2 plan of dreams has been broken up immediately with Elias down to 4th.
Horrible start from the Williams of Elias, down 3 places. Decent start from Phil, going up 1. Sadly, bad start from Lena, dropping 4. But no, decent start overall for almost everyone. Not much drama happening. But yeah, no, great start from Pole Diver as well. Must be staying second place is good, but Kizio as well, jumping into 3rd.
Yep, and like you say, very good to see a clean start to the race here, and up at the front of the field, Aero has currently broken a 1-second gap to Paul Diver behind him. Obviously, there won't be any DRS this time around. There's only 1 detection point for the first 2 straights, but that's not going to stop any moves from happening, as into the first corner, it's Elias putting a move on Kiesil to get back up into 3rd. Had a look at Paul Diver even for 2nd place. Going to have to be a little bit more patient to make that one work, as Nade under pressure now from perhaps on the exit of the corner, but yeah, DRS train trains aren't all that these guys need to make moves, as Elias now was again having a look to the inside of Paul Diver, not able to find any way through just yet, but yeah, the underlying pace of the Bahraini driver is already on full display here. And he is looking to get right back to the sharp end of the field. We know he's got the ability to do it, but obviously it's always a little bit easier said than done. You've got to make sure to keep things clean. And yeah, Kisiel is now going to be a little bit on the back foot trying to defend from Nade, as Kisiel is, of course, another driver on the hard tyres, and Nade is going to try to use the grip advantage to his advantage as he goes right around the outside of the Haas driver. I wonder if he was able to stay on the track, as now Kisiel tries to slam the door, and perhaps he was having a look up the inside. All getting a little bit too close for comfort between these guys here, but thankfully the worst possible scenario is avoided. Everyone's facing the right direction as we head now onto lap 3. DRS will be enabled for the first time. And I think the level of overtakes is about to step up in that chair.
Yeah, I think I might have seen perhaps some bit of front wing, but I'm not sure about it as he goes in front of Kisiel, fighting with the P, maybe P4, but yeah, no, great stuff, and perhaps already 3 places up. Oh, and almost loses it there. But yeah, no, great start from the Aston Martin.
As we did also see Elias get back into second place. He made the DRS pass cleanly on Paul Diver up into P2, so Paul Diver down to third place now, but behind him there's a bit of a gap before this massive gaggle of cars that's pretty much 2x2. Can't really get any good camera angles to show you it, but it is now perhaps up into fourth place, doing really well in this race. As we've said before, he's a driver who does enjoy a bit of a chaotic race and just trying to keep things clean on his end, and kind of lurks his way through the field and suddenly ends up at the front of the order late on in the running, but he's doing it quite early in the running this time, and he's going to be fighting Nade now down in towards turn 12. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Obviously DRS games are going to be in the fore of everybody's minds here, because you don't want to have you don't want to be at the front of the train coming onto the start of a new lap, because that means you're going to have no DRS for the first 2 straights, and you're basically going to be a sitting duck. And unfortunately that honour is going to be bestowed to Nade here, and we'll see how many places he is well able to hold on to. We'll try to be optimistic for his sake, as Paul Diver is going to look to re-overtake Elias here, and is going to do so successfully into the first corner. But what about behind him? Perhaps up the inside, past Nade and back into P4.
Yeah, it's really a chase for P4 right now. The podium is really getting away. The pack is starting to form between 4th and I would say around even 10th place. It's a really big pack right now. But you know, Elias, 3-second gap on perhaps, but who's fighting right now. So obviously he's going to slow them down. Maybe he's going to try to grip a bigger gap as well, as he's trying to fight Paul Diver to make a bigger gap for Arrow, who's in first place comfortably right now, 2-second, with a 2-second lead. Paul Diver needs that win. He needs any point possible. So yeah, no, it's he's going to have to fight the whole race. But yeah, people need to go up. He's got 3 places to start, down P7. Lawrence in P6, who's having a bang average race so far. But yeah, no, Nade is doing his stuff as well. So yeah, no, perhaps he's really surprised right now so far.
Yeah, running a great race so far, but especially running a great race is Aero. Like you mentioned, out at the front of the field, breaking DRS on the first lap of the race did prove to be crucial for the Portuguese driver, because yeah, it's given Elias the chance to just continue fighting Paul Diver and make sure that the Sauber isn't able to get too close to his teammate, because obviously Paul Diver and Aero are 2nd and 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, only 5 points between them, and both of them are basically on the tails of Phil, who is, like we say, not going to be here for the final race. So those guys, if anything, are the ones with the best shot at taking the Drivers' Championship here. So obviously there is going to be plenty of tension between them, and as it was, if it were to finish like this, it would only be 2 points between them heading into the final race at Silverstone. So yeah, all still to play for, and every point, like you say, does indeed matter. But things have just started to calm down a little bit this time around. No crazy moves with the DRS, and I want to mention as well, something that we saw last lap from the stream's POV was the Vacuum, and it was Zuxon at the time, fighting quite hard for only P11, actually cost them to drop out of the DRS zone. They're on the bubble of making it back in. I think they will be able to do so this time, but you have to be careful when you're in this midfield fight, because if you do get lucked into a battle through the twisty parts of the track, then it can end up breaking you away from the rest of the train and dropping you out of DRS, which, as we know, on F124 is the worst possible fate that you can that can befall you. Meanwhile, further back, the racing is immediately looking to spice back up again. We had a lap of calm, but now we're 3 wide, heading into the first corner, and a lot of contact now between Kiesiel and Perhaps, who's getting swamped from all sides. Nade's managed to scamper off from this battle and get a little bit of daylight between him and the rest of the fighting pack, as now more contact with Perhaps, this time with Phil, who these two have had a little bit of history in Jeddah earlier on in the season, and yeah, Perhaps does stay ahead by a little bit of help from some force of his side pad and rear tyre there. So yeah, getting feisty and frosty down in the midfield here.
This is gonna be a spicy race for people need to get as much points as possible. So they're all fighting. Maybe going from 5th to 4th could be a massive lead point. I mean, a massive change for points, you know. And so everybody's trying to get in front of everyone, which can cause chaos. As we saw 3 wide, it's happening a couple times already, which can lead to front wings going leaving the car, or some spins as well. Like this is there's also the main straight is a really long main straight compared to other races, especially if you have full DRS. It's an easy overtake, so you really need to make your moves at the right spots.
And Elias has now been able to use some of his underlying pace to catch up to his teammate. He's broken DRS from Pole Diver, who's now trapped in a little bit of no man's land in 3rd place, and is probably going to be limited in what he can do in this race until the strategy and the pit stop starts to take effect in probably around about 10 laps time. So he's just going to have to focus on making sure he keeps it on the track, avoids any kind of track limits violations, as the Williams drivers do swap places now. Aero passed by Elias, who's up into the lead of the race. So yeah, took him 7 laps to get back to where he started, but he is there now. And I would imagine it's just going to be a little bit of a tactical game here, where the 2 Williams drivers are probably just going to look to tow each other along until we do get to the aforementioned pit stops. As further back, a little bit of chaos there with the 2 Ferraris getting close to each other, and again, locked into a battle with the vacuum in the V-car up here. So yeah, this is exactly the same kind of thing that I was talking about a few laps ago, and this has cost these guys big time now, 1.8 seconds back from P10 of Pluto, and yeah, they've fought well and truly too hard here. It's going to be really tricky for those guys to get back in DRS range, and I think for the Ferraris, especially for Zuxen, who, like we say, 4th in the Drivers' Championship, he should be a lot higher than he is. This is a weekend that is not going well for him so far, and is going to be trapped effectively down outside the points at the back of the field.
Yeah, no, probably disastrous weekend right now so far for from the Ferrari drivers. Zuxen is maybe he doesn't like this track, maybe it's a bad setup, maybe it's just a bad day for him. But yeah, no, really surprising to see him only in P11, and the gap is growing between the McLaren and him, 2 seconds now. So it's gonna be he's gonna need some miracle almost. So maybe we're used to having Zuxen doing some crazy pit strategies where we know about this. They work, they don't work sometimes. But what does he have for us today? maybe he's got something in his bag of tricks. But yeah, no, obviously it's not the great start for Zuxen right now.
As back up at the front of the field, the Williams drivers did actually swap places again. Excuse me, going into turn 4, so part of me wonders if that might be the strategy, although I'm going to swap places again here going into turn 12, so obviously they're just trying to optimize the DRS usage, and I think that's going to be the way these guys are going to play it out. There's no doubt about the fact that they will be working together here. These guys have so much experience working with one another, and they will have, with Aero on the team, they will absolutely have some very well planned strategy. As there's a spin further back, it's for Loris, like you say, and coming out of, well, it's almost coming out of the stadium section, but that is going to be very costly for him. Like we say, yet to score any points in the season so far, and well, that is disastrous for him. Did you get to see how it happened?
Yeah, I mean, he just touched the curb and accelerated at the wrong time, I think. I don't think there was any contact. I think he just lost it. It just happened out of nowhere. I can't lie. I was looking at the car behind him.
And retires from the session.
And he retires. Horrible seasons for Loris. Wow. Wow. This is surprising. Really surprising if I'm telling you. But now the Alpines are back together.
Oh, and contact again. Now perhaps his cannons into the wall. Perhaps getting fired off the track. I don't think there was any ill intent there from, it must have been the Alpine of Phil, so who knows, maybe there was a little bit of ill intent, like you say. Some history on the racetrack between those two guys in this championship, so yeah, certainly not going to be making any kind of friendships anytime soon. Perhaps does have some damage to his front wing, and is absolutely showing as he makes his way through the S's with quite a bit of a flagrant track limits violation. That could be really costly for him. Another driver who is having such a good race, and unfortunately, just like it was in Jeddah, circumstances slightly out of his control have ended up with a great race, potentially, getting scuppered. And yeah, we now have
Pull over in the pits.
Pull Diver into the pits, like you say, first of the pit stoppers, and coming in a bit early here, I've got to say.
Yeah. Maybe a two-stopper? No, we don't know. This is the is this a repeat from last time? From last week? Is he going to do the same mistake again? We don't know. Obviously, his teammate. No, yeah. What are you going to say?
I don't think so. He started on the hards last week, so I think it was last week. It was Nade who went in for the early pit stop, and that did not work out for him.
Oh, true. Yes, sorry about that. I did. Got the wrong driver there, but yeah, no. Perhaps sadly, it's a horrible race for him. You know, Zoxon back in 7th place. I was saying he was having a bad race and stuff like that, but now he's out of nowhere up in 7th. What happened there?
I have no clue how he's managed to do that.
But yeah, Leland up in 5th, overtook Phil right now. Great race so far from Leland. Obviously with the fastest car in the grid, but still, you need a great driver. You need a great drive. So great drive from him so far. I hope he can keep this up. I'm not trying to jinx him, but yeah, as pool diver, that's a 3-second penalty.
Yeah,
for track limits.
That's not going to help him at all.
Absolutely not, especially as bit early. So we'll see how he goes. Arrow in the pits right now. One driver.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep on top of all of the different moves that are happening on the track. Unfortunately, it seems like every time I try to switch to one, there's another one further around. So yeah, into the pits. Oh no, did Leland speed? He did. Oh, that is a disaster for him.
Horrible.
Oh man, that sucks for him.
No.
It's yeah, 10-second penalty. Perhaps gets one as well. Perhaps understandably with the wing damage that he has, and does have to change that wing. So yeah, disastrous day for Perhaps, unfortunately. But for Leland, that has got a sting. He was having such a great race, great pace, and yeah, that 10-second penalty. That's gonna cut deep, unfortunately. So. We will see. The one chance of respite he might have is A, if there is a safety car, or B, just if other drivers do fall foul and make the same mistakes. It is quite a tricky pit entry here, and speaking of tricky, Phil losing the back end coming out of turn 6 there, one of the many traction zones around here that could have been nasty for him, but does control it nicely. But yeah, with the pit stop starting to take effect now, that is going to, that is going to give us a chance to have a little bit of a breather from the intensity of the action as the field does start to pull apart a little bit. But make no mistake, the action is still very important to pay attention to, because this pit stop window is where the race is almost always won and lost. Where you come out with the DRS train, how early you make your stop, how long you can last the tyres is what is going to determine the outcome of this race. As, like you say, first of the Alpines into the pits.
Yes, obviously the two hard tired drivers, first and second right now, they can go out longer than everybody else. I think Phil is on his in-lap, so I think he's going to have to give it all he's got. Zoxton in 4th place, I think he's also probably on his in-lap, but yeah, no, obviously penalties are going to be a big part again of this race. I think the pit, yeah, you said the pit entry is really messy here, but yeah, no. I was saying that as perhaps DNFs, I think he just put tires into the pits. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think he didn't want to fight the fight, but you know, unfortunately, because he did have a great start to the race, and yeah, that little maybe too aggressive move against Phil, maybe lose his front wing, and then come out. Accumulated penalties or just mistakes, and I think he just called it quits. Maybe lost his head a bit, but unfortunate for the Aston Martin driver. I was saying that Pole Diver had the pit mistake last week. It wasn't that. It was he got screwed over by the game. I think I remember it wasn't the retired car just stopped in the middle of the pits and he lost all track.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, that's what I was trying to bring out. But yeah, as Phil goes into the pit, obviously this lap, I was just saying, followed by his Dachshund. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think the thing with last week with Holder is that even though he did certainly lose some time from whatever the glitch was, he lost most of the time just on the fact that he went for the wrong strategy. Starting on the hards did not work out for him at all. He lost a whole heap of time basically to everybody else, and I think probably with that in mind he wisely decided to go for the normal strategy here today and started on the medium tyres. So let's see how the more conventional approach to strategy works out for him, as we can see Nade under a little bit of pressure here from Leland, who's got his tyres well warmed up. Obviously Nade's had them warmed up for a lap as well, but yeah, under pressure still from the Red Bull driver, just going to show how much pace he does have in that car, and unfortunately how much of an opportunity may well be lost as a result of that 10-second penalty. So Yeah, never something that you like to see, but we will see. Llewellyn will continue to press on, and we'll see if he's able to recover from it. I think some strong points, or at least some points, are still certainly on the cards for the Italian here today.
Oh, Kizio, penalty.
Yeah, Kisiel does get a penalty. He's the next driver to fall victim, and I think he's going to be far from the last, as the Vacuum is now passed by Aero, going down into turn 12, just caught the back end of that one. Obviously, Vacuum, the only medium tyre runner yet to pit in this race. I would imagine he's going to be in this lap. Let's see. No, he's going to go for one more by the looks of things. Indeed, he is. So,
Maybe
yeah.
great management, we don't know.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
trying to stretch the strategy out a little bit, but obviously we've seen in past races in this season that trying to stretch the tyres has not really gone very well for the people who've attempted it. So
Zoxton.
we'll see as, Zoxton, the next one to get a penalty here. They're starting to come in quite thick and fast.
Yeah, everybody's getting penalties right now, as no one has grip or something like that. I mean, cold tires could be in effect now, but as Lennon takes over nowadays right now, it really shows that he said how fast that car is. Obviously, it's so unfortunate. I feel bad for him. I feel so angry and so a hard gut that he's got a 10-second for being in the pits, because he's driving such a great race right now in that Red Bull, especially after last week. It was not his race at all. Even his teammate was not his race, but Pablo in last, but all eyes on Lennon right now, who's driving a great race. It's so unfortunate that he's got a 10-second. I repeat myself again, but right now he can't be a troublemaker right now because he's holding both Alpines, and obviously the Red Bull being so hard to overtake might be he might put a stick in the wheels of the Alpine Championship hopes right now, because with an 8th and a 9th place right now, it does affect not only the Drivers' Championship but also the Constructors, because we know Alpine has a great lead right now, but if you only get 3-4 points, it opens the door to other teams like maybe Williams, or obviously Pole Divers being alone right now because Loris is DNF'd, but it opens the door to multiple opportunities.
Yeah, it's not an ideal position for them, obviously, still, with the caveat that quite a few drivers haven't pit, the drivers who started on the hard tyres further towards the front of the field. That's mainly looking at Elias, Kisiel, Trimashave, and, well, the Vacuum. Not on the hard tyres, on the medium tyres, but still hasn't pit anyway. I don't know how he's making them work, but, yeah. Those are the guys still yet to pit in this race, as Aero now dispatches of Trimashave up into P3. And, yeah, it's starting to get into a little bit more of a calmer rhythm in this race, but I still expect that people are going to continue to run into each other on track, be that physically or metaphorically. Only time will tell on that front, but yeah, Pluto and Kvyat bonus currently the closest of the duels that we have, although I think we're about to see another change between this time, Pool Diver and the Vacuum, and yeah, I think the VCARB driver would do well to make his way into the pits this time by, because clearly those 16-lap-old medium tyres don't have a whole lot of grip, and well, let's see. Perhaps he's just waiting for a safety car at this stage, because yes, he is going to stay out for another lap. I feel like
what is going on?
Yeah, he must have committed to the bit at this point, and he's just praying that some kind of safety car is going to come in and save his race, because he's certainly gone too long. But unfortunately for him, it's a bit of a missed opportunity, because he's one of the drivers who doesn't have any penalties, and if you look further down the order, there are quite a lot of drivers behind him who do have penalties, so had he played a more normal and sensible strategy here, I think he could have actually been on for quite a strong finish from results. So yeah, unfortunate for him, he's not the most experienced driver in LRC, so maybe some of that inexperience is starting to show here.
I mean, the window was saying 23 lap max, but this is so hard on rear tires. I don't see how his tires are not. Yeah, he's slipping right now, but I don't see how he can manage to stay on longer. I just don't. I don't know if it's just the. What's his strategy? I'm so confused. What is his strategy? Because the hard is like, maybe he's trying to get the faster hards towards the end. He thinks he can make a move, but right now if he goes in the pits, he's dropping a lot of places. So that's why I'm so confused. He's losing places every lap he does. Is he gonna go in now? Finally, lap 17. Let's see.
See? Yes, he is.
Okay, now he's going in. Now he's going in. But finally, yeah. But I think, like you said, it's a wasted opportunity because he doesn't have a penalty. But yeah, maybe like you said, he's the rookie driver. Maybe it's a mistake there.
I'm not sure, but well, maybe he was going to try doing drive to the tyres explode. I don't know. But unfortunately for him, actually fortunately for him, the tyres have not exploded. But he is, well, I thought he was held in the pits, but that's just some lovely desync for you. Making his way out of the pits now, but unfortunately, like we say, a long way behind the back of the field. So, well, ahead of Bablo at the very least, if that's any consolation. But yeah, not in a great place, as there was a yellow flag for a moment, and now there's contact between Pole Diver and Trimmershave as the Dutch driver makes his way through what is the out of position traffic. Not quite lap traffic for Trimmer, but yeah, he's another guy who is yet to pit, obviously one of the 4 to start on the hard tyres, so I think those guys will probably be in about 10 laps or so, well maybe a little bit sooner for Trimmer, because he gets a massive slide coming through the S section there, and that is pretty much exactly the phenomenon that I talked about. Once the rear tyres cross a certain point, they start to overheat just exponentially, it seems, and spiral out of control, and yeah, it's done very well to hold on to control of that McLaren here, but let's see. It is a bit early to pit, so I would imagine he is going to stay out and try to cool the tyres, but it's practically impossible to do here, and he's going to be under duress immediately from Nade and Leland behind him, and I wonder if Leland might see if he fancies a chance at going 2 for the price of 1 here. He's going to pull to the inside here, a little bit of Spa 99 action, but heading towards turn 1, just going to run out of battery and doesn't quite have the legs to make it work on Nade, but he's still going to be in the slipstream, and I think probably just enjoying the chance to fight such a prestigious team in the standings.
Everybody coming.
Okay. I guess some issues on Mountie's end. I'll leave him be for as long as he needs. He can let me know whenever he's back. But yeah, we'll continue to press on that. And
sorry, but I am back.
You're back. You're back. Okay.
Little issue here. No, sorry. I got a phone call I have to take from work, but it's all done now. But yeah, no, I kind of missed the last couple laps. I think I saw. I think a yellow flag happening with Pole Diver. I think maybe a bit. It was tight action, but no. I'm sorry, I'm back, guys. But yeah, no. I agree with whatever he just said. I believe what he just said.
Yes.
And let's keep going.
Exactly that. Well, yeah, so we can give you a little summary of what happened. It was just Pole Diver and Trimmershave running close together in close quarters, and did make a little bit of contact at turn 4 and 5. Not entirely sure what the yellow flag was for, we didn't quite catch that, but there was almost a much more pressing yellow flag, because Trimmershave almost completely lost it going through the S's, as now Leland is going to make the move this time around into turn 1, and get himself back ahead of Nade. And these guys, if you look a little bit further up the road, are only 1.5 seconds back from Pole Diver, who does have, like we mentioned, he's still holding on to that 3-second time penalty from earlier. But yeah, Leland's pace, I don't know if maybe this is just a well-suited track to the Red Bull, either that, or he is just, yeah, really turned up the wick, I'm not entirely certain. But in any case, got some great pace, and like we say, the 10 seconds penalty is, well, 13 seconds, because he has got a track limits penalty in addition to that, is, yeah, going to be a real source of bereavement for him when he crosses the line, but can take some solace in knowing how well he was able to run here today. And it's going to be looking, like you mentioned earlier on, to try and throw the cat amongst the pigeons and fight with the big dogs as Pole Diver just saw at the top of the picture, making a bit of a mistake, losing traction there coming through turn 12, and might now be immediately under pressure from the Italian.
Yeah, obviously Leland, great. 13 seconds is, I think if I did the math correctly, would put him in P10. So it's not ideal, or P9, sorry, P9, which is not ideal because he's driving such a great race, but as he goes into the right of Pole Diver, easily goes by him. Like I said, the DRS line is so long here, it's literally, you can't even defend it, you just let it happen, and you just pray nothing happens. As Nada is what took over it. As Pole Diver, that's a horrible DRS line for him. But yeah, no, and obviously Phil is so far, sadly, 4.8 seconds behind them, so that's not mattering so far, but because he's not even in the 3-second gap from the penalty, so he needs to push, as some would say. But yeah, no, Nade is doing great to defend against Pole Diver, which is the best scenario for Phil. So he's doing great teamwork right now, as Leland, 4th place out of nowhere, without the penalties, would be an insane result for them. But again, unfortunately, that's 10 seconds is just ruining this race.
Yeah, and potentially when Kiesiel comes in to make his pit stop, obviously he's a driver who's yet to pit in this race. Llewellyn might actually take over third place on the road, which would really just be rubbing salt into the
Yeah.
wounds if he's able to hold on to that to the end of the race. So yeah, let's see how he's able to fare. He's going to be under big pressure this time from Nade and Pool Diver, and I'd imagine he's about to suffer the same fate that he imposed upon Pool Diver this time last lap, and is probably going to drop 2 places for the price of 1 here, though the Sauber is a bit further back. Nade does come through into 4th place, and as you were talking about Nade potentially helping Phil out here, there is, of course, with the caveat that as things stand, Phil doesn't stand any chance, as we have a couple of drivers. Sorry, it was Kvyat Bunner retired from the session, and also Trimashave into the pits at the same time. So looked like 2 drivers were retiring. It is only 1. Kvyat Bunner is going to be the next to fall victim to the race of attrition that we're starting to build here in Mexico. But yeah, all is good on the front of potentially having a safety car. So unfortunately, you can't have any free entertainment here. But yeah, Nade, as I was trying to say, there's only so much he can do at the moment, because realistically, Phil needs to be where Nade is, and probably then needs to be about 3 places higher if he wants any chance of holding on to the driver's title. Like we said at the start of the broadcast, it was always going to be a very long shot for him. And I think that is why, in the interview that we had with him last week, he told us his priority here is getting the Constructors' Championship, and the same applies to Nade. So those guys are just going to be looking to maximise every position they can, and if Nade is able to hold up Pool Diver by a whole 5 seconds, then he might just be able to help Phil out and potentially get him an extra place in this race. But until then, it is just going to be every man for himself at this stage of the race as well, and makes his way back into 4th.
Yeah, Trimashave really was just changing his tires because he was one of the 3 drivers, I think, or 4 drivers who started on the hards, and 20 laps in, he said, I've got enough of my tires, let me go onto the medium. So let's see if whenever Kiesel and Elias pits, that'll be interesting, because yeah, it's obviously the strategy. As Bablo having how many seconds now? I think it's 27. But what's the record here?
He's got a ways to go before that just yet. I think Bablo does actually. I think he might hold the record. I'm not sure. Either Bablo or Tim holds the record for most penalties in LRC in one race. But it is around about a minute, so he's got some work to do to try and catch up to that. But there's still time. We'll see if he can push on at the back of the field and get his own accolades. But yeah, Kiesiel, like you say, into the pits now to scrap those hard tyres, strap on a fresh set of mediums, and it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out. I think he is, definitely going to be behind that gaggle of cars, Lal and Nade and Pool Diver. But the question is going to be how far behind. I think he's going to be behind Phil as well, by the looks of things here.
He's going to be close.
Yeah, the Alpine making his way down the start-finish straight and will get past as we look now to Pool Diver, having a look around the outside of Lelin into turn 1. Bit unorthodox there, but yeah, sensibly decides to back out of it. But yeah, Kiesiel was running second for a long time in this race, but he's going to come out of the pits down in 7th place, and probably with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, trying to make his way back up the order now on those fresh medium tyres. Like we say, he's going to have a big pace advantage over these guys, so yeah, watch out for the Haas in these coming laps as he looks to make his way through the field, and watch out for the man up at the front of the field, who we hardly have seen in the past 15 laps or so. Elias just running his own race as he does. He is also yet to come into the pits, and when he does, he will drop behind his teammate Aero and pass over the torch to the Portuguese driver, who would obviously be granted the win anyway if Elias was to finish ahead of him, in terms of the fact that Elias is a reserve. But yeah, I think by the looks of things, if Aero can hold on without any mistakes or penalties, then he will be taking the, as things stand, I don't want to give him a jinx, but yeah, as things stand, he is on course to take the win on the road here. So yeah, we'll see how those guys decide to work things out when Elias does come back with his pace and his fresh medium tyres at the end of the race. But for now, the 2 Williams just doing what they do best out at the front of the field, and Leland still looking for a move on Nade, but not able to find it, as Kiesiel now got those medium tyres switched on after a lap to warm them up, and straight past Phil into turn 1.
Yeah, I've been looking up position changes in the whole race so far. Pool Diver down 3. Not the best race. We said it again. It's not what he expected probably from him, down P5, behind Leland and Nade. But yeah, I want to point out how the Alpines I don't think I've ever seen them with penalties this season. If it was 3 seconds at max. They're really like clean driving, and that's been the key for them the whole year, because the whole season, sorry, because that makes you go.
Oh, you've
Coming to the
jinxed it.
jinx is
You've
crazy.
absolutely
The
jinxed
jinx
it.
is actually crazy. Someone said that. I am so I'm so sorry, but I was gonna say it makes him go up so many positions, and now I've just jinxed one. So I apologize to Phil. He's my favorite German. As I said multiple times before, but no, nowadays I don't. You know what? I'll just stop talking. I want to see his clean. I'll
Yeah.
stop talking. But no, Kizio with the fastest lap right now. He's going really fast on those medium tires, and it shows.
And he's going to be catching up to these guys in a matter of time, you would have to imagine, if he's able to keep up that pace. But obviously, as we've talked about all day long, the caveat is, the harder you push, the more that you are going to risk overheating those rear tyres. And once you do that, it's effectively game set match. So, got to be careful whilst you are pushing, but he's going to continue pressing on, as Lelin has now made his way past Nade and will be running in third place as things stand. That penalty is going to be absolutely devastating for him at the end of this race, as we've said many a time at this stage. But yeah, it just sucks to see a driver like him running up at the front of the field. We're not used to seeing him up here, with all due respect, and I think he's going to be quite disappointed with how well this one could have turned out. But also, I'm sure he can take away the positives of the fact that he is running with some very, very strong pace here, and is legitimately holding off and holding his weight with Nade and Paul Diver, two drivers who are both fighting for two different championships respectively. Obviously, Nade not quite in the picture for the Drivers' Championship. He's fifth in the standings, but quite some way off of Phil. But yeah, he's fighting for the constructors, with Paul Diver fighting for the drivers, and yeah, Lelin might still be able to have some impact on this race, as here comes Elias now out of the pits. Didn't see that he had made his way into the pits, but he's going to rejoin just behind this gaggle of cars, so yeah, things might be about to get a little bit spicy here.
Yeah, that's an interesting position to come back behind. Obviously, you got fresh tires, they're cold, but you know, at least you come back behind DRS, which is a great thing. But coming back to Lennon again, I think the driver today will be pretty simple today. If you look, don't look at the final standings, look at the race standings. I think this is going to be a really great race for him. And as I would say, like you said before, that it's nice to see that new drivers are going on top, but.
Oh dear. That blow's been
What
disqualified.
Yeah, but what you can take away from this is that he is fighting against the best of the best in this league, and he's defending well, and he's not letting them go. He's fighting for his position. He's taking this to heart, to pride. So I think it's a lot of a positive for him that he can take away from this race.
For sure. There's a little bit of a dogfight going on further back in the field between the Vacuum and Eno players. These guys have been fighting pretty much all race long, and are still continuing to do so, even for, well, it's not quite the wooden spoon to be fair to them. There is 2 points on the line there, so fair enough, they are going to continue to battle, as Elias, in the span of one lap, has worked his way from 5th all the way back up to 2nd place. And yeah, is going to immediately be setting his sights on his teammate, as actually an interesting phenomenon that we do have to pay attention to here is, because of the strength of the DRS train, like we do always talk about, and the fact that these guys haven't been fighting too hard in terms of passes in the corners and in the twisty bits, these guys are actually closing up to Aero at the front of the field, so potentially using Elias to try and drag them along a little bit further. Now with 4 cars in the train, with the help of Kisiel, who is now onto the back of these guys, and like we said, with the fresh medium tyres, will be looking to make moves. These guys might yet be able to catch up to Aero, who has just been alone in this race for so long. It is actually not going to be over just yet, with 8 laps still left to run, 9 laps even, still left to run. Anything can still happen just yet. It's the field is all starting to converge in on each other. I said some time ago that I expected everyone would start tripping over each other again at some point, and it seems like we might just be about to see that later on in the dying stages of this race, as Kisiel now, look at the traction advantage he had coming through the Peraltana, was immediately onto the back and up alongside Paul Diver, but seemingly not with quite the same straight line speed as the Sauber, as Lelin makes his way back up into 3rd place, and now Paul Diver, big send up the inside, forces Nade out of the way, and Kisiel's going to say thank you very much, follows him through on the outside, using that extra grip to his advantage nicely, and gets himself up into P5. Meanwhile, further down at the back of the field, in that dogfight I described earlier, there's been a bit of drama, because Tremashev has passed them both, and yeah, the Vacuum and Eno plays all fighting it out, everybody's scrapping each other on the track, and this is exactly how we want to see the end of the race play out, as contact tyre to tyre between Trimmer and the Vacuum. Like I say, this is only for P9, but this is do or die stuff for McLaren here. This is their points, and they have to defend it, and they'll be doing exactly that, as the Vacuum now runs slightly off track. It didn't even look like he did to me, but he's going to pick up another 3 seconds. Well, actually, that's his first 3 seconds, so that's going to be costly for him, and he's going to slide it in, rear locking into the side of Trimmer Shave. I don't think he's going to be very pleased about that one, and yeah. The fighting, even at the back of the field, getting very intense here as Paul Diver gets another 3-second penalty.
Now 6 seconds, so that's a costly mistake because again, I'm sorry for the jinx because if Phil negative penalty, that would be his spot. He would go be in front of Paul Diver, but now he needs to close the gap. He needs to gain on 3 seconds now. But yeah, no, Kizio, I think. From the DRS, you were saying that they're getting close to each other now. I think Kizio, because he has such fast tires and medium to fresh.
And there he comes now, deploying the ERS. He's about to make 2 moves here as he jinks to the inside of Lel, and just about room to fit his car through there. And he is going to be able to do just that. He's going to have to go the long way round on the outside of the Red Bull, but he makes it work. Paul Diver's going to try to follow him through a bit of contact as he taps the back of Leland's front left tyre, and Nada's going to have a look to the outside, going to have to back out of that one. But yeah, all starting to kick off. The drama is brewing up nicely in these final laps of the race, and these guys are still now 3 seconds away from Aero at the front of the field, but Aero has gotten his help. The backup has finally arrived. Elias has caught up to him, got ahead of him, and is giving him the all-important DRS train that he is going to need to try and survive and hold on to the win of this race, because the 4 cars behind him are going to be coming on strong with their own DRS train. So if Elias can continue to tow the Portuguese men along, then that is going to be all he needs, presumably, to hold on out at the front of the field to the final 6 laps. But yeah, far from over just yet. Penalties are just around the corner, mistakes as well, and yeah, anything can happen here, as we see now Nade past Paul Diver into turn 1 and back up into P5.
Yeah, like I was gonna say before, you did just double up like it's nothing. Kizio is really on a fast pace right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into the top 2 at all. But yeah, no, the penalties are gonna be. You can see now with 6 laps to go that it's starting to go really. It's stepping into the space at a big margin as right now. As now they would be into P4, and yeah, no. Paul Diver obviously down 4 positions from where he started.
Oh,
he's fighting because that's 6 seconds.
There's this contact further back at the field as plays trying to put a move on the Vacuum there, and getting very frosty between these guys. I don't think the McLarens are particularly fond of that V-carb, if I was to take a wild guess, as almost getting spun out was the Welsh driver, but thankfully she's able to stay on the road. But yeah. Back up at the front of the field, all is calm, all is well between Elias and Aero, but Kizil has been able to break free of the DRS train behind him, and now is going to have a chance, if he's got some serious underlying pace, to try and push on alone and see if he can catch up to Aero and try and put in a fight in these final laps. But I'm not sure if those medium tyres are going to be enough, are going to have enough life left in them at this stage to pull him all the way there. But he's certainly not going to go down without a fight, even though he does have, of course, 3 seconds of time penalty to keep an eye on as well. And Nade holding on to 4th for the time being ahead of Leland and Paul Diver, so no changes this time around, and a long way back from him. In no man's land, we have the 2 German drivers, Phil in 7th, and then obviously much further back from him, Zuxon down in 8th place. So yeah, there's a couple of drivers in the middle of nowhere, but then pretty much everybody else, aside from Pluto, who obviously had the half spin last lap, is involved in some kind of intense battle. So yeah, there's plenty to digest here, but I've got to say, up at the front, Williams have played this race absolutely perfectly so far, and if they can just continue doing exactly what they're doing for the remaining laps of this race, then yeah, they're going to be on for the dream result of a 1-2 finish, and it will be 25 points going to Aero as things stand. But yeah, like you say, Leland, unfortunately, the damage was already done, but another penalty to add insult to injury here.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't look at that because one of the penalties is spinning in the pit lane. Is just it's unlucky. If you move that 10 second, he's fighting right now for a great spot. So I'm gonna just say that he's still driving an amazing race. But Williams have done an amazing job as well. Let's not overlook that. Seriously, domination of this race. Like it's a Sunday drive. Literally a Sunday drive for them so far. But Kizio is getting closer now, 1.7. But yeah, he does have that penalty, so maybe the Williams are looking at that and be like, we don't have to worry about it that much. We just cannot let him go into first place and create a gap. But with 4 laps to go, I don't think that will be a problem, an issue at all. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
The main thing for those Williams guys, and specifically for Aero, is to make sure he stays on the track and stays within those white lines, because we don't know how many warnings he's got. In fact, if you could potentially check the race director to see if he does have any warnings, that might give us a clue as to how things are playing out at this stage. But yeah, all Aero has to do is make sure that he stays on the track, doesn't get a penalty, and if he can do that, then even if Kizil does pass him, then like you say, he's not going to be able to take the win. But his pace, very, very impressive at this stage. The gap now down to 1.4 seconds, well it was, but obviously the DRS training effect ahead of him is going to cause him to continue to lose time on the streets as the battle continues to rage on between Nade, Lelin and Paul Diver, as it has for most of the race at this stage. And this time it's Nade getting back past Lelin up into P4, and I have to say, I would imagine that the reason we're not really seeing the best of Paul Diver here is because, like we've said this whole time, because it is such a high tyre wear track and such a tricky track to manage the tyre temperatures, that Sauber is, I can only imagine, an absolute boat and an absolute dog to handle on the rear when it comes to doing exactly that. So he's probably working through some tough circumstances right now, and if it weren't for that, I'm sure we would be seeing Paul Diver a bit further up the field and probably fighting for the win. But such is the nature of the Realistic Performance Championship. All he can do is his best with the circumstances he's given, and at the moment, that best that he can do is realistically going to be only holding on to, I think it's going to be, yeah, he's far enough ahead of Phil that it will be a P5 finish. So not the end of the world for Paul Diver, but he's going to be entering the final race as things stand behind Aero quite considerably in the points. So, well, not considerably, he's still certainly going to have a strong chance, but with a bit of work to do heading into Silverstone.
Yeah, I checked, and everyone has 2 warnings, but one of them is for collisions, so I don't think it's going to be coming into factor here. Yeah, no, obviously the standings are going to look really interesting after this race, especially with a, I would say, subpar race from Phil. But maybe he's already looking upon his trip to Japan. Maybe maybe that's what it is. But yeah, no, Paul Diver, like you said, the car must be absolutely dog like on this track with the rear. It must be. I think we're probably gonna hear it from him himself. Maybe if we have time for interviews after this. But yeah, no, obviously, yeah, so we'll see how it goes, especially in Silverstone.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see how he gets on. So we see now Lelin is under a little bit of pressure coming through the middle sector, but yeah, I think we're entering now in the dying stages of the race, a little bit of a holding pattern now, because yeah, people are very much at the end of the grip and just trying to hold onto the cars and make sure that they do get them to the checkered flag in one piece here, because, like we say, at the end of the stint, that is going to be where the tyres are at their most prone to overheating and having the least grip in them. So it's going to be still just a challenge for these guys to make sure they even stay on the track here. And Lelin is going to not stay on the track, but he's also going to make his way past Nade and up into P4 once again. So yeah, continuing to fight. That's all he can really do at this stage is his best. And as you've been saying, just ignore the penalty that is currently next to his name, and Nade just has to keep things in one piece, and the penalties will take care of the rest, even if he does get overtaken by both of these guys before the checkered flag. So, yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Nade, there was, I think at one point, a possibility that he could have stayed within the range of getting the receiving end, the beneficial end of the 3-second penalty for Kizil. But yeah, Kizil has long since cleared off into the distance there, and yeah, those guys weren't really able to hold him back as long as they needed to counter out that medium tyre advantage that he does have. But yeah, on Kizil's front, he's certainly given it a good run to try and catch up to the front guys, and actually I think Aero did just drop out of DRS for a second there. He might have even dropped fully out of DRS as we head on to the final lap of the race. Obviously, far too late for Kiesel to do anything without some kind of mistake for Aero up ahead. But yeah, I think maybe that's a sign that Elias has been granted permission to push for the fastest lap right at the end here. I know that's something that he does usually like to do, so we'll see if he decides to do that, and he might be able to actually take away a point from somebody else if one of Aero's rivals does have it, as now Nade makes the pass on, well, Nade and Pulldiver both pass Lellen, and Nade is going to look to try and hold on to P4 on the track.
Yeah, Elias has a fastest lap with a 1:15. What in the world? But yeah, no, I think it's just maybe you drive a Vaughn right here because he cannot get any points. But yeah, no, I think if I do the maths correctly, my maths are horrible, but I think Lennon would still end up in front of Zoxen because of this penalties. I'm not sure.
Yes, he would.
It's either P8 or P9, something like that. It's not around that, but it's still great points for him compared to last week, which was a spin job. As Zoxen gets a penalty, so it just helps Lennon even more.
Oh.
But yeah, no, clean race from everyone so far. I think in terms of contacts, I think.
And
But,
out at the front of the field, Elias is going to take the checkered flag first, but the victory is going to go to Aero because obviously Elias is the reserve, and I suppose Williams can share that victory because it was really a team effort for them today. A great race by those guys, as actually side by side over the line. Unfortunately, that was between the Red Bull of Lellen and the lapped car of Eno Plays, who crosses the line to end the race in 11th, and yeah, Lellen does unfortunately drop down to P7. But he will hold on to that P7, so ironically enough, it will equal his result from last week's race because of the amount of attrition that we had last week, but this one was certainly a bit harder round for the Italian, and something that he can be a lot more proud of his efforts, even if things did not go the way that he wanted to on the penalties front. Zoxen has to settle for a perhaps slightly disappointing P8, as the Vacuum and Trimmer shave round things off in 9th and 10th, with 9th going to the Bulgarian on account of penalties. So, there we are. Wrapping things up here in Mexico City, and yeah, plenty of storylines to keep on top of, and I think that teases up nicely for a championship battle in a week's time in Silverstone.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I don't know if I'm going to be there yet. I have to check my schedule, but this is going to be such an insane, intense race. It's going to mean so much for the Drivers' Championship. But yeah, no, obviously, multiple people can be happy with their performances today, and some of them can be disappointed. I think Zoxen is probably one of them. Maybe he could have done better, but yeah, I think compared to last week, it's a big downfall. But this last week was a big result for him, anyways. But yeah, no, it's really looking forward to next week, and I think the constructors is not settled yet, so that's gonna be a big thing. But yeah, great race overall.
Yeah, it's Pulldiver had to try and hold on alone because unfortunately, once again, Loris not able to score any points, and yeah, I'm not sure how pleased Pulldiver will be about Loris effectively rage quitting at the start of the race there. After obviously the spin was never going to be ideal, but I think perhaps a bit of an overreaction, and one they might live to regret if in a week's time they turn up with some great pace and just miss out by a couple of points. But yeah, who knows how things will play out. And unfortunately, we're not going to be given the chance to look at the results. That's a shame. But yeah, we'll find our own way to do that and make do. But in the meantime, we will have a 5-minute break or so, and then we'll be back with the Driver of the Day poll, which will be in both chats, and some driver interviews and drivers onboard clips. We'll be back in a few minutes' time. Alright, welcome back everybody. We have taken our break, we have got the driver of the day poll now in the Twitch chat and in the league chat, and we are ready for some driver interviews after this fairly eventful race in Mexico City, as is every race in LRC. And thankfully this week we have no shortage of time on our side, so, well, I mean, hopefully hopefully we're not here all night, but, no rush, so we are going to be able to get round to every driver who does want an interview, which is always nice, and that means we will start things off with today's race winner, Lamau or Elias. Let's get him in. Elias, welcome in. Are you here? Are you with us?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
There we go.
Then,
Am I lagging?
no, you're good, I think, as far as I can tell.
Alright.
Alright. Yeah, welcome in. It's been a little while since I've had the pleasure to see you in the booth here, but yeah, back on the top step, some would say where you belong, and after another pretty solid race this time with quite a lot of teamwork involved. So yeah, what was your approach today as a reserve?
I mean, just look at the standings. So, Arrow, Arrow was in P3, I think.
Yep.
Prior to this race. So I just decided to do as much as I can to help him out. Give him a tow in qualifying. He also returned the favor. And yeah, I mean, just focused on, losing. We focused on gaining as much time as possible in the beginning, at the end, and the end, by towing each other and giving DRS to each other. So yeah, I think we executed everything pretty well today. So yeah, that's what led to the 1-2 today. So yeah, it was pretty smooth.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it looked for us as well. So they're just a well-controlled, well-planned, and well-executed race from you guys. Well, can you talk us through the approach to strategy? Because obviously you guys went for a bit of a you went for the split strategy. Was that was that planned from the start, or was it just you didn't think it would make too much difference?
No, I plan to go on the hards because with Arrow starting behind on mediums, if I could let him by, I could be able to hold up the guys behind as well because I'm on the harder tire.
Yeah.
So
I mean, speaking of that plan, it kind of worked a bit on the first lap. Things were going well up until, well, I think turn 4 things started to go wrong. But yeah, I mean, how was the experience of racing the other guys around you today? Didn't have to do it too much, but for the parts that you did.
yeah, well, in the beginning I just got shoved off and then I got an illegal overtake, so that's why I lost 2 positions.
I see.
But then I got past easily and yeah, just plain sailing from there, to be honest. I mean, apart from that, it was all clean. So
Fair enough. Well, yeah, so not too much remarkable going on for you. Just a solid Sunday drive, and I think you probably helped out Aero quite a lot here, making sure that he was safe from the DRS train come the end of the race. So yeah, good job with managing that. Are you planning to race next week in Silverstone?
I won't be able to though.
Okay.
I would like to, but yeah, can't next week. So
Fortunate. Well, I guess that means probably be this will be your last race on F124. So if you got if you got any passing remarks to this game?
this game can suck my balls, to be honest.
Amen to that.
Yeah, I mean,
Amen to that. K-Mag right there.
I mean, this game has probably been like pace-wise, it's been my strongest. I've been very, very quick this game. But yeah, it's just not a good game, honestly.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I hope 25 is better. I mean,
Well,
it looks like it's going to be a better game, but yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. I mean, it releases next week, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say not too long for us to wait to find out now. Should probably be only a little bit over a month before we get underway with season 9. So yeah, it'll be good to see you back then. But yeah, congratulations on my part on a very dominant year of gaming. But before you go, I'll hand it over to Mountie. Do you have any questions?
I've got one question. It's a special one.
Go on.
Yeah.
Without counting without saying crash. What's the worst thing that could have happened in this race?
Wait, sorry. Repeat your
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
please.
So So without you can't say that, oh, if I crashed or if my teammate crashed. Like, you know, when you're driving in the front as a 1-2, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like the
I
worst,
think
like were you like just praying for no safety car or like something like that, or were you just never
yeah. I mean,
in doubt?
I was hoping for I mean, I was just focused on driving, but of course, I wouldn't want the safety car to come out. I think that would just ruin everything for us. Because throughout the whole race, we were very much under control. Like we were controlling the entire race. So I think safety car would have probably hurt the race, hurt our race. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't really thinking about it too much, but of course, it was the worst thing that could happen was probably a safety car coming out.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's probably a question that you haven't heard before, so I suppose that makes a
Yeah.
bit of a change.
I'm always trying to. I'm
Yeah.
always trying to be original.
Thinking outside the
Everywhere,
box. I respect that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I love confusing Europeans.
oh no. It's not exactly European. That's
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, isn't it?
no.
But yeah, sorry.
We can stop digging the hole now. I'll yeah.
I'll die on my hill. Like
That's fine.
I'll take the slipper.
Anyway, yeah. Congratulations on the win today, and yeah, congratulations on all of your accolades on this year's game, and yeah, look forward to seeing you again next season.
Thank you very much. See you guys.
Okay.
All
He's
right.
Bahraini, isn't it? I'm stupid, eh?
He is, yeah. Yeah. Well,
I forgot who I was talking to. Oh my goodness.
good way to get
Anyways.
on his bedside for next year.
Yep.
Anyway, oh no.
Might not show up.
Honestly, if that was the case, I think you've done everyone a favor. Would be most people's view, and we get open championships every year. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to the second place finisher is, of course, his teammate Elias's counterpart and counteract. We will get him in now for his for the next interview.
He's European.
Yes, Arrow. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
All right. Well, I think today's race couldn't really have gone much better for you. I mean, you'll have to let us know how it was from your side, but from what we could see and from what Elias told us, it was just a very well coordinated and executed race of working with your teammate, managing the race, and coming home with a very strong finish.
Yeah, well, it could have gone much better. Well, okay, no, it couldn't in terms of results, right? But I fucked up the strategy, man. I hate those mediums. I don't know, bro. I just hate those mediums. And they were useless at the start. I mean, they weren't useless, but they didn't have as much effect because you saw Kiesel was much slower than me in race pace, and when he went to the mediums, he just made up so much ground. So yeah, fortunately we worked well with Elias, which was my teammate, so makes sense, I guess. And yeah, for once I needed some help, and I managed to get that help. So yeah, I don't know for what reason the DRS train behind decided to not drop their IQ to minus 100 this race, which never happens when I'm in those trains, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. Result is there.
Yeah, that's what matters at the end of the day. Having to work through a bit of adversity is always generally how these things go. But yeah, you managed it, and I think a lesson learned, I suppose, for next time. But yeah, like I say, from our POV, it's just a well managed and well executed race in the circumstances. Obviously, we already had a chance to speak to Elias about his POV of the teamwork, but obviously it's pretty straightforward with him being a reserve. There's not too much complication to it. Doesn't have too much to fight for. So yeah, you guys worked well with that. But I suppose you kind of took my next question from already talking about the strategy side of things. So I suppose we can just skip straight onto the juicy stuff and talk about the championship standings, which you will now be the leader of going into the final. Well, I think at least you'll be the leader of. I'm not sure if you'll be. I think you. Let me see. Yeah, you will be ahead of Phil. So. Leader of the championship, heading into the final race in Silverstone. How are you going to be preparing for that?
Same as always. Gonna try my best and wait to see how I'm gonna get fucked. That's
Fair enough.
basically how it goes. I don't know. Yeah. No, but more serious answer. I will try my best as per usual. I lacked in the qualifying pace today. Even though I exceeded my expectation, I know I'm just not good in quali. But I'll probably have to improve that for next race. And Silverstone is a track I particularly enjoy. And yeah, of course, I'll practice as much as I can. And yeah, hopefully nothing too stupid happens to me. And I can actually have a say in this championship battle.
Yeah, so always a bit of a mixed bag in Silverstone. Sometimes you can have very clean races with great fights, and sometimes it's a complete mess. So can never be too sure what we'll get, but hopefully it is a clean fight. And I mean, if today's race was anything to go by, then people did seem to be fairly well behaved around a track where you can have quite a lot of incidents. So yeah, it should be a good first sign for next week and a positive step. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to cover from me. I mean, I suppose Williams does have some chance in the Constructors' Championship, I think. But I'm not sure if your teammate is going to be turning up anytime soon, unfortunately.
Well, no, he can't because he's getting banned after this race because he missed 3 in a row.
Well, yeah,
so,
that's not gonna
unfortunate.
Maybe we're able to find a replacement in time. I'm not sure. There are a couple of drivers on the waiting list, but yeah. In any case, I think just maximizing your result would be the best thing for you. So yeah, Mountie, you got any questions?
No, honestly, no. Pretty easy drive from you, so I don't really have anything to ask you about. Good drive.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats on today's race, on the technical win, asterisk, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Best of luck for preparations for the championship.
Yep, thank you. See you guys.
Good luck.
Yeah. All right, and next in the order, who's going to be next? Kiesel was the third place finisher, but he's, as usual, not around for an interview, so we'll skip on to fourth place, which is going to be Nade. Let's get him in. Nade, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome in today after pretty much a race full of action for you. A lot of it just in DRS trains, but you were always around some other cars at some stage, and I think you can be relatively pleased with the outcome of today's race. P4, well, it'd be P4 on the road and then P3 points once Elias is removed. So yeah, I think solid stuff for you and a decent point stay for Alpine, but potentially a bit left on the table. So how are you guys feeling about it?
Yeah, pretty good actually. I enjoyed the whole race. I think the only point where I could have maybe did a better job was pitting like one lap earlier, the same lap as Aero, matching him. But aside from that, it was pretty good. The fight with Lelen was pretty good. I love that with him, and we managed to work together. To not like destroy our races. So yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, you were fighting with Leland for pretty much the entire race, and Paul Dive was with you guys for quite some time as well. But yeah, were you? I mean, speaking of Leland, were you surprised to see him there?
I was talking to him, and the first few laps when I was in behind him or with him, I was like, yeah, he probably started on the hards and he has to pit in a bit. But then I asked, and Phil told me, no, he started on the mediums. He's actually there. I'm like, oh shit! Yeah, I was pretty happy from him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty fun, pretty enjoyable. And earlier today, we were talking about a fight we had in Abu Dhabi in 2023, and having speaking about that and watching the replay, and then having another fight today was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's great to see for you guys. Obviously, this was sort of a technical home race for you, and to go with that, you get yourself a technical podium. Like we say, be P3 in terms of points. So yeah, I think it's a race to be proud of from you. Do you think there was there was anything more that you could have gotten out of it today, be it from pace or strategy?
Aside from the strat, maybe a bit too late because the mediums. I mean, I always hated the mediums. Their rears just get way too hard. I had the opposite problem of last week. Um, that last week I was getting understeered because the fronts weren't like working. While now I was getting oversteered because the rears were lighting up. So maybe a lap earlier or two. But aside from that, it was pretty good. Everything went according to plan. Just um yeah, at the start we just lost the front guys and we have to rebuild that, like regain that gap. And yeah, because this game DRS is
Yeah.
so powerful. You lose the train and you're cooked. So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty happy with the result. And we had the P3 at a technical home. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, speaking of the rear tires as well, how was managing that with the temperatures in this race?
Um, on the mediums, it was horrible because
I can imagine.
yeah, it was around lap 10. There were I was putting on the gas and it was just like woo woo woo, woo, started wobbling so hard, and I just hated it.
Yeah.
So the moment I started with the heart, it was so beautiful, man. I could push them, and they would respond, and they were so consistent until the end. And yeah, the moment I went on the hearts, every single problem I had with the balance of the car went away, and I was really happy about that.
Yeah, it's gotta be a nice feeling, especially around a track like this. Did you think that track limits was going to be an issue for you today, or was that something that you felt like you came prepared for?
um, yeah, I knew they were gonna. It was a probable issue to say it like that. But I knew I could manage it. But I was a bit scared because
Fuck
at
Phil,
the right
fuck
at the
Phil,
start.
fuck Phil. He's fucking backstabber. Fuck Phil.
I guess we'll have to interview Lawrence later.
Little streaker here. Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I was saying, dude, I forgot what I was saying. Holy shit!
The
Turning
track
you off track,
limits.
bro.
Track limits. Yeah. Right at the start, I think it was Kiesel that just squished me into the apex of turn two, so I got a warning there. And then, well, Battering perhaps he pushed me a bit out. Um, and I got another warning like a lap two, so I was like, okay, yeah, no margin for error now, and managed to keep it on the road, get a track limit, and
Yeah,
yeah, pretty happy about that.
yeah, for sure. It's nothing to scoff at. It's I often find that that's how it goes. Is you'll get 2 warnings really early in the race, and then suddenly you remember how to drive and don't get any for the rest of the race. So sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes you then end up with 15 seconds of penalties. It works out differently different times, but. Yeah,
Mhm.
anyway, I think it was a good drive from you today, Mountie. If you got any questions?
Yeah, I got one. No stress. I don't think it's done yet, but I think next week you're alone, obviously.
Mhm.
Do you think you can bring home the championship for Alpine?
In terms of the teams, yes,
Yeah, team, yes. Yeah.
100%. I can score some good points and manage to keep the lead. Yeah, we have a pretty healthy lead now,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
and yeah, the next race is Silverstone.
Silverstone.
So yeah, it'll be fun. Like I've been having interesting setup decisions with this car because the engine is just horrible.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I believe I'll get the the
The
championship back at Alpine.
Yeah, sounds good. And
yeah, good.
yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for us this week. So yeah, we'll wish you the best of luck for next time around, and yeah, good luck in preparing for that championship.
Gracias, man. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
All right. And moving on down the list, next up would be Pool Diver, but I would imagine, indeed, yeah, he's not in the voice chat, so we're going to go straight to the other side of the Alpine Garage and get in the championship leader before the race, and unfortunately the man who we can officially say will not be winning the championship in this campaign, Phil Malone, to see how he's feeling about his race. Phil, welcome.
What the?
Oh, hi, hello.
Ah, damn.
Hello, hello.
That was loud.
Welcome in.
That was.
Yeah, I think your volume's fine. Don't worry. Yeah,
Yeah, it's for me.
welcome in. And after a bit of a, well, I mean, you were kind of alone for most of the race, to be fair. So I'm not really sure how to characterize it. But yeah, I think maybe a little bit of a slightly disappointing race for you. But obviously, it's a very tricky track. So yeah, I mean, talk us through it. I won't put any words in your mouth.
Yeah, Mexico is not the best race for me, and yeah, the stint on the mediums, like on the start, it was alright. It was with the other guys in the DRS train, but yeah, then perhaps had great ideas, pushed me off track, and yeah, so we even lost more time because of that. Yeah, and then Nada, of course, had priority. He had the better car today. He had better pace. So I said, you have pit priority. You can go whenever you want, and I take the spot behind you at any point. And yeah, it was just a bit unlucky with the timing that I came out with a 2-second gap between Nade and Lele, who could push each other the whole time with DRS. So yeah, it was hard to just stay with anyone, and then I was alone for the longest time.
Yeah, you pretty much put into isolation there at the end of the race. It must have been an interesting experience. Did you have any, I don't know, did you have any eureka thoughts whilst you were driving alone for 20 laps or so? Any interesting developments?
I thought about oh yeah, the sun. What will I eat tomorrow, and what
Did
what
you
do I
punch
have?
it, maybe?
No, not yet. But next week. No, but and also like, what are the plans for tomorrow at work? While just trying to be as fast as possible, but it's impossible to just stay with them when you don't have any DRS.
Yeah.
So that's yeah.
The unfortunate thing about this game. And well, speaking of this game, this is of course going to be your last race on this game with LRC. So yeah,
With LSD, yeah.
you can give us your parting words to F124 if you have any.
Parting words for F124. To be fair, like, I get the game deserves a lot of hate. It has a lot of flaws, but we had some really good races here at LRC. Be it just actual racing or just with the DRS trains that always provided action and for entertaining streams. That's what I have to say, positive things, and that it resonated with me and my personal driving style. But yeah, otherwise, I think we are all glad that we can look into a brighter future with the next game.
Yeah, I have to second that statement. It's pretty succinctly put, to be fair. So yeah, it does unfortunately also mean that we can confirm that obviously it was a long shot, but you are not going to be taking home the Drivers' Championship this year. So, I mean, I think you told us last week that your focus was going to be on the Constructors, and to be fair, great result for you guys in the Constructors today. Still solid points day, and I think you leave Nade in a good position to try and get things home across the line next time in Silverstone. So
I think we are basically already done and dusted in P1.
it's going to be close on points, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
actually,
close.
Yeah, because I think because Loris didn't get any points today. I know Pudeva will finish in front of me, but Nade effectively gets a podium, which are 15 really valuable points, and I don't know, for P5 I think it's 10 if I'm not complete.
Yeah, I think actually, I'm just gonna double check this before I say anything, before I start
Yeah,
spreading
10,
misinformation.
yeah, it's 10 points for P5,
Yeah,
so that means
I was gonna
25 points.
what I was gonna say is, yeah, I think it's actually gonna be Williams who will move up to second place because of Arrows getting the 25 points for the win. So,
Oh yeah, okay, I forgot about Williams.
yeah, I think those guys will keep you out of taking the championship just yet.
Unfortunate, but I think Nade has a really good position to get a really good result for us, and I hope he can fulfill our both dreams, and we will see what happens next week. Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch when he takes the checker flag. So I will be praying from the plane when he crosses that he crosses the line.
Yeah, well, that's all you can do. You've done your part at this stage. You put in a great shift, and yeah, I can hope for your sake that Nade gets it done next week. But yeah, that's going to be all from me. So, Mountie, you got anything to ask?
Yeah, of course. My favorite German. I gotta ask him a question. Now, what do I say? I don't know. But no, obviously. Do you feel you could have done a better job in qualifying? Maybe get a better spot, or maybe the car wasn't the best for the circuit, or just a bad shot. Because I think if I remember on your last lap, you did invalidate your lap time. It was looking like you were gonna improve.
No, I didn't. I didn't invalidate my last lap. I just invalidated the in lap. That was
Okay.
I had a 3/10 improvement. Yeah, to be fast in sector 3 was was not possible for me. I don't like the stadium section in here on this track. The rest is fine. It's just I don't know how to fucking drive this stadium section, and yeah, it cost me a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, qualifying could have gotten a lot better, of course. Like I cannot lie. There would be a more opportunities, but I was happy that I got into the 14s with the 14 times. Yeah, but higher would have maybe changed the result of the race to maybe a bit in front of Loris, and I wouldn't have been so it wouldn't have been so tricky. But to be honest, I deserve a bit of hate. I like Loris asked at the start of the race, yeah, how much fuel do I need for this race? And I told him, yeah, you need 3 laps extra, and he believed me.
I see. So maybe that has something to do with why Loris pulled into the pits and retired, and then also why he pulled into the VC to yell at you.
No, he spun.
But he did do that as well. But yeah,
He
maybe
did.
that informed his decision.
Maybe.
And yeah, well, I'm not sure if he is still around. So yeah, we'll get his thoughts in a few moments. But yeah, otherwise I think yeah, just good job to you on putting in a solid shift this season, and yeah, good luck to good luck to you and your teammate for praying that things go well next week.
Yeah. One thing to say, thank you for commentating whenever you did, for
No
you
worries.
and Mountie, especially.
It's a pleasure.
And I hope we can continue this for next season if you want to.
Possibly. Too early to say just yet.
I'll try.
It's all right.
Try.
No worries, not for free force, but I want to say as head of commentaries and streams, thanks for your efforts every week that you go in here, and it's highly appreciated.
Of course, no
Thank you.
worries. It's a privilege to have the opportunity. So yeah,
True.
thank you for coming by, and yeah, we'll see you on F125.
See you around. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
All right.
All right. Next up is going to be. I have to move back to the commentator chat. I think Lelin is next. Yes, he is. So yeah, I think this one should be an interesting one. Lelin, hello.
Hello there.
Hello. Well, I think a very much a mixed bag of a race today for you. very, very strong potential, very strong pace, but then the penalties as well to caveat that. So, yeah, how are you feeling after today?
Yeah, it's always the penalties, man. But anyway, actually, I'm not mad about the penalties because it was completely my fault. I sped up into the pit lane, so yeah, that's unlucky. But yeah, I feel actually very good. I don't care if I finish P7 because yeah, maybe was like one of my best races I ever done. Like I can like say it with just like this simple as it is because yeah, honestly, I didn't expect this much pace. I managed to actually get P5 in quali, but then I got shafted in the start because my PC froze and I lost 5 places. So from P5 I got down to P10. But yeah, I didn't give up. I was so frustrated. But yeah, I mean the pace was still there, surprisingly, and yeah, there was Shinade ahead of me, so we worked together, and yeah, I got up to P4 and I fought until the end, and yeah, I mean. That was a really really strong pace. I actually didn't like expect to get pull diver behind us because it has been like a threat for 10 laps. But yeah, with the ERS management and everything, I was very cautious. Even though I was so frustrated at the start, I was very cautious. And so some incidents happened. I had to force some overtakes, but yeah, man, this race was fun. Finally, I can say this race was fun, and I really enjoyed it. Surprisingly, because Mexico, it's not one of my best tracks, but I did well, so I'm happy. I'm very happy.
That's great. That's exactly what I want to hear. Yeah, of course, the penalties is always going to be disappointing, but yeah, good to hear that you're able to acknowledge the very strong performance that you did put in. Because yeah, we were very surprised, I suppose, probably just as surprised as you were to see you so far up the order. But yeah, it was nice to see you get into fight with Nade for a lot of the race and just prove that you can hold your weight with those guys. So. Looking ahead to next week in Silverstone, do you think there's any chance you could maybe repeat that?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Silverstone, yeah, same as Messi, but let's see. Never say never.
Fair
So,
enough.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Only time will tell with that. It's probably I would say it's a slightly less tricky track than this one in my opinion, just from managing the tires as that perspective. I mean, how was your experience with the tires today and the strategy?
Like the best because I mean I struggled a lot with the mediums not at the start, like at the end of the stint. Like for example, I managed to overtake Phil, for example, because I was fighting against him. But after that, even though I was like in clean air, I lost the car so many times. I almost spun like two, 3 times. So I couldn't really manage to get off to him. But after that, the hard were insanely good. Like for example, the second sector, the S section, I could have take it flat for like the whole stint. So yeah, amazing. The arts were amazing, and the ERS management was also fine. Even though yeah, I mean course working with Shinade because yeah, I mean there was no point in fighting against each other. It was easier because of the DRS, but managing this much well until the end was again a surprise. Yeah, I mean from those from those points of view, so tire management and rest it was great throughout all the race.
Yeah, and it certainly showed in the performance as well. So it's great to hear as well. But yeah, I think that's probably most of the questions from me. It's unfortunately you guys at Red Bull don't really have too much to fight for in terms of drivers or constructors' tendons. I mean, I suppose you can. You have any words for the impressive drive from Bablo today?
So at the start there was like Verstappen and then Lawson, right?
A bit.
Yeah, I would say pretty much the same situation, but I mean, of course, I'm not Verstappen, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of like team performances, unfortunately, we're there.
Yeah.
I
The
don't know about Pablo. I honestly don't know. How did he? Where did he finish?
DSQ.
Bro.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about it, but yeah, unlucky.
Yeah. He was going for the penalty record today. Unfortunately, the game
Oh
stopped him.
wow, I cannot even fight for that anymore. Anyway,
Yeah, it's a shame, but yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all the questions from me. So, Mountie, you got anything to ask?
Yeah. Oh, you should have seen the reaction when you saw you finished P5 in qualifying. We couldn't believe it. And then the race, I couldn't believe how fast you were. Obviously, the car is amazing, but it's such a great drive. Such a great drive. You are a driver of the day. So how do you feel about that?
Surprised. I think this is the main word for this today's Grand Prix. Like I was doing the last lap. First sector it was meh. It was not a great. But I saw like purple second sector was like surely this game is kidding me. Like there's no way. There's fucking way. But yeah, I was like pushing. I was cautious. I was so afraid of messing up, but yeah, I managed to make a lap that got me P6. So wow, even ahead of Loris.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I had of so many drivers. Like I thought. I mean, at the end I finished P7 as I expected, but in the best way possible. Like I did not expect to be so much far ahead, even though it should be expected since it's the best car. But yeah, I mean, I don't care. I don't care. I'm happy with it. I'm so happy with it.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah. That's a great. I was saying during the race, like don't look at the penalties because this is not reflecting on your drive. I think if you don't have that unfortunate 10 seconds, I think you have a much better result, and I think you deserve a better result after this drive.
Yeah. I mean, probably the best I could have hoped for was P6 because at the end of the last lap, I was leading the train. But yeah, I mean, still, I don't care. I really enjoyed the Grand Prix. So for me, it's a positive result anyway. So yeah, it's fine.
yeah, and that's the main thing. So yeah, congratulations on the result and a great
Thank
race. That's your
Thank
your
you.
driver of the day for today, Leland. And
Nice.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for. Oh my God, I'm breaking something with
Yeah,
the server. Hang on, I was trying.
you can do this.
Yeah,
can do
there we
this.
go. Okay, yeah, well, there we go. Thank you for joining us, and yeah, best of luck for next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. So, next up, who is going to be the next one? Zuxon does. Well, Zuxon says maybe interview now. You know what? I'm going to take him up on that. Maybe. Let's get him in here because he is the P8 finisher, so he's next in line. Zuxon, welcome in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello. You said maybe interview. Is that does this count for yes?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a short one
Okay, that's fine.
because
I mean, to be fair, there's not too much to go over with your race. You were in no man's land for a long time, and well,
Yeah.
Last week.
yeah, there was. We were gonna do a double interview, weren't we? But I suppose
Yeah.
if you want a short interview, we won't bug you down with that. We'll delay it to we'll delay Hungary's interview to next week instead. But
okay.
yeah, there we go. But yeah, on today's race, like I say, it wasn't the most eventful for you, but you did have some battles in the early laps, and I think those battles were eventually what cost you. So how did things pan out today?
Yeah, I just wanted to get out of here. I really wanted to get out of here. I was really surrounded by idiots because I was myself an idiot. With this quali, just had the random oversteer moment in the S's. That was in the end just P11, and yeah, those battles that have costed me a lot of time, and then there was the issue of not having the DRS, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was pretty much exactly as we saw it at the time. There was a couple of guys. I don't remember who exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was
Just one small incident in the qualifying that ruined the entire race.
Yeah, it was tough, unfortunately. That's so how it can be with the DRS trains here. But yeah, I mean, is there anything else more specifically you wanted to tell us about today?
Not really, because I said everything.
Yeah, fair
It
enough.
was literally everything I said.
Yeah, no, not too much events going on. So, looking ahead to next week, then, you think things can be better than this for Silverstone?
Yes, yeah, Silverstone's a good track for me. So see about that.
All right. Well, let's.
And
Yeah,
I think I have a bit of time to practice for here because Friday race I will not attend. Which would be also Silverstone, but yeah.
all right.
Let's
Well,
go.
it's, yeah, that's good. That's what we want to hear. So, yeah, hopefully next week goes a little bit better. Mountie, is there anything you want to ask?
No, not really. I mean, did you expect after last week you're gonna have a better race, or you just already knew with this? Maybe you didn't like Mexico or something like that.
Really don't like Mexico. Firstly, and secondly, yeah, one small mistake in the in the qualifying, and you're already in a bad place. And with bad place, I don't mean Mexico. I just mean back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah, fair enough. Well, hopefully next week things do look up for you, and I suppose you can only go up from here. So yeah, best of luck with preparations for that, and yeah.
I may be still in the race. Let's see.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. Hopefully we get to see you, and yeah, good luck for that.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Heading down the order next to, let's see, who have we got left? We've got Loris, Pluto, and, well, Sol wasn't driving today. I'm sure he'll probably ask for an interview for some reason. But before he does that, it would be Pluto will be next. So let's get her in. Pluto, hello.
Oh, hello.
Welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you had actually quite an eventful race today, and eventually you're going to end up. Well, unfortunately, I think you ended up a lap down, didn't you? Because of the some incidents late on. But yeah, you were involved in a lot of battles, and you will still be given 1 point at the end once Elias is removed from the order. So not in vain entirely, but yeah, how was your race?
Pretty good. As you said, I ended the lap down. That's actually Phil's fault. Told me to go for fastest lap, but I instead got lapped, which didn't make that possible.
Right.
So yeah, 100% Phil fault.
Phil seems to have made a lot of enemies today.
Yeah, a lot of incidents with me, Vacuum, my teammates. Just very unfortunate. Another unlucky race. Hopefully next time will be better.
Yeah.
That's all that can be said.
That's all I can hope for. I mean, talking in more specifics about the battles, obviously, you had some with Tremor Shave, but then also with the vacuum. You were fighting with him pretty hard. So, did you think that did you think all the battles stayed fair, or you think there was potentially something beyond the rules?
That's not for me to decide ultimately. We all feel our own way about these things. Yeah, the stewards will decide.
Fair enough.
Great
So,
PR.
yeah, very, very diplomatic response.
PR.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Talking about things that could have gone better today. Do you think? Well, I mean, do you think there was any room for improvement on this result? Do you think you could have maybe done something different with the strategy, or do you think it was just the best?
I think I had a very good qualifying. I put in a great lap on mediums actually, which set me up nicely for the race. I ended up getting damage, unfortunately, because of a car that spun in front of me, and it kind of unraveled from there.
Yeah, that's
But I felt like my pace was pretty good. Besides that,
fair enough. Yeah. Well, yeah. I suppose that's Pretty much all I could think to. Actually, no, that's not all I could think to ask. What I can ask is about next week's race. Silverstone is going to be up next for the final race of the season and final race of F124 as well. Thankfully, how do you feel about that track?
Yeah, I will be there, and I will be racing for next season too. Very fun.
Very good.
I'm gonna get a podium. Trust.
Oh, okay. That's
Eventually, it might take a while.
okay. You think that could be next week?
Yeah. I'm hoping next season.
Okay. Okay.
Next
That's
week,
probably more
all I
realistic.
hope for is points.
Yeah, that's probably a sensible approach. Do you like the track more than this one?
Well, of course, I'm biased, to be honest.
Fair enough. Okay, well, that is actually all of my questions. So, Mountie, you got anything?
No, nothing to add. Great race. I mean, kept on the track, so that's that matters. So.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was happy with the start. I didn't lose any positions. Okay. Thank you for this, and I wish you all good evening.
Yes.
You too. Thank you.
Good luck for next week. I'll see you then.
Thank you.
All right, and well, I guess Loris has decided that he doesn't want an interview after all. So we won't get any further comments from him on a certain film alone, or even his own race. So yeah, unfortunate. But anyway, that means that we can move on to the clips for stream today, which I will start the screen share for you now.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get that up. And let's see, where is this? Where does the rabbit hole begin this week? So I'm not going to use that caveat clip. Oh yeah, we can start with one of your clips. I think is this of this is the Loris incident?
Yeah, that's the spin. Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at this. So lap 8 of the race, and heading down towards the final sector. I'll skip ahead a little bit. And I think it's going to be just ahead of us.
Right there.
Yeah,
right
there
there.
it goes.
On the curve, and boom, spins right into the wall.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate, really, losing it. Trying to put the power down, yeah, a little bit unsettled by the curb, and yeah, easy mistake to make, unfortunately, for us.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Hold on, let me... Oh, 1 second. Good, turn that off. There we go. Okay. Yeah, next clip from Mr. Zuxon. Let's take a look. This one is called The Clip That Ruined My Race. Oh, the moment I lost the race, whatever. Same thing.
In quality.
And this is in quality. This is the incident he was telling us about. Let's see. And wow, yeah. Just completely gone.
Oh my god, sorry.
Perhaps
Goddamn.
looked like he tried to hit him. I don't know what that was, but yeah, let's see. Can I play this again? There we go. So I think by the looks of things, what happens is he just turns in a bit too late and asks a little bit too much out of the rear tires in comparison to the luck he puts on the fronts. So yeah, I mean it's nothing really. It should not do this. This should not be physically possible. It is not physically possible, but when has that ever stopped EA and Codemasters before? So yeah, it's just unfortunate for Zuck there. It's a small mistake
Anything is possible.
with big consequences.
Yeah, anything is possible with Codemasters, so you can't
Of course.
take anything for granted for them.
And next clip is going to be from one Film Alone. Let's crank the volume up. You can see, well, we did see perhaps in Kiesel having a little altercation, but we're going to have a slightly bigger one here.
Move with me, perhaps, you idiots.
Yeah. As I was saying,
Yeah, push me on the grass.
Yeah,
you are
that was the push
such
off
a
the grass,
dickhead, honestly.
as I was saying, no love lost between those two on the track. They don't have the greatest history of wheel-to-wheel combat between the two of them before, obviously, starting in Jeddah with, actually, what was a very similar incident to this one, just with the roles reversed, so maybe perhaps was just looking for some payback, I don't know. But, Actually, I don't know if it was roles reversed. I forget whose car was where. I think it may have even been the same way around. So, yeah, it's interesting stuff. But I mean, Phil can let us know. Phil's in the chat, so he can let us know if he has any extra comments on the incident. I think this one is going to be the part 2 of the incident, which didn't go quite so well for perhaps.
Perhaps you moron. You cannot move. What the fuck? Are you actually mentally retarded? What
Oh,
are
you
you
almost took him out.
doing?
And now he does.
Oh my god. I'm gonna push you. I don't care.
Well, the stewards, I'm sure, will have an interesting view of that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push you off the track. I don't care. He says. You know, everything you say can and will be held against you in the court. So maybe Phil lives to regret that one. That said, I don't think he did anything particularly egregious here, though he does cross back a bit towards the racing line. I'll stay out of it. I quit being a steward a few months ago for a good reason. Yeah, good
For
luck
good
to-
reasons, yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave them to work out the intricacies of that one. But yeah, just side put front tire contact is pretty much an insta spin on these games, unfortunately, and that did catch up perhaps. Yeah. Next clip from Mr. Monitor Banner himself, with actually not a widescreen clip. It's incredible. And we have Vacuum versus Korea.
looking, come on.
God.
And Vacuum now throwing it to the inside, but
Easier.
just a nice move from Kvyat there, actually.
Great overtake, yeah.
Textbook switchback.
Vacuum.
Yeah.
Gets that done around the outside. But yeah, he actually did. I mean, I don't know how he went off the track. It looked like.
Actually, I was gonna say the same thing I saw.
It looks like he's still on the track to me. It's on the
so
limit.
straight.
It's on the limit for sure. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that's a clean move. So yeah, good job to him for that.
Yeah.
Next one from Lelin. Let's take a look. Turn that up. This is from lap 3 of the race, even though it looks like lap 1. I have
Yep, I got
2
hit
by
in the
2.
rear.
Elias complaining about back shots. And, well, I'm going to go right round the outside of Phil and get himself into P8. Nice move. Some good racecraft from these guys here, when they're not taking each other out.
Which is a rare occasion, but it does happen.
Yes. Another clip from Lelin. This time it is going to be the first lap, and I suspect this is going to be the aforementioned screen freeze that he told us about in the interview.
Oh my god.
Let's see how this one pans out. And yeah, that is not what you
Go,
want
my
to see.
son!
Boy.
I'm trying.
I think
I'm using my fucking battery.
I'll wait for the end of the clip here. I don't think we're going to get anything else. Nope. But yeah, I think perhaps for the sake of LRC's Twitch account, we're probably lucky that Lelin doesn't have his mic being recorded to the stream or to the clip, because I'm sure he was not very pleased, to put it one way. But let's try to assess this here. So he's 6th place at the time of the screen freeze, and then because of the oversteer,
Go, my son!
he's going to
I'm
drop
trying.
all the way down to P9. So
I'm
yeah,
using my
that's
fucking battery.
very, very unfortunate for him. You hate to see stuff like that.
Go, my son, indeed.
Go, my son. And apparently that's already going to be all of the clips. So yeah, I guess people don't have too much to share today. Fair enough. I'm sure I mean, somebody always posts one the second that I say the clips are over. So we'll see if somebody feels like doing that this time. But yeah, there we are. And I'll keep the tab open just in case anyone has anything last minute. But failing that, that is going to be the end for today's stream. So yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Obviously, it was pretty good race as usual, as we would come to expect. And yeah, I think Mexico putting on a fairly decent show. Can I actually do the audio properly? That would be pretty cool if I can turn that on. There we go. Okay, that's better. Yeah. I think it was a solid race today, and yeah, tees us up nicely for the season finale next time out in Silverstone. What's your closing thoughts on today?
Oh, I mean, the race could have been a bit more exciting. They did deliver at the same time. Now up to the last of the season. Now me and you are gonna go hit the beaches, and sadly
Absolutely.
we're gonna have to go probably to rainy Silverstone next week, which is
Yes.
gonna be a pretty snap back into reality. I hope I'll be there. Maybe I'll stay here in Mexico and enjoy my the sunshine. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to who's gonna win the championship
Absolutely.
next week if I am there. So yeah, let's looking forward to it.
You can give us some poolside commentary. Yeah, find a nice resort or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'll face the miserable rain. I mean, to be fair, the weather has actually been quite good for a while. So, well, I suppose knowing that it's going to be torrential downpour the second we turn up on Sunday. But yeah, I suppose if that does happen, then all the more interesting race, because then we wouldn't have any DRS trains to deal with. So that would be a real spice up to things. So who knows? It's still all to play for, and there's still about a million different ways that this could all end up shaking out. So yeah, you don't want to miss it. Tune in next week for that action. Obviously, you can get involved with the server as well, or involved with the league by joining the Discord server. And if you haven't already, I don't think anyone here hasn't, but just in case. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's action. So thank you all for tuning in, and yeah, I can't wait to see you in a week's time for the title decider and for finally our last race on F124. We'll see you then.
Yeah.